Hi everyone, it's Alana from Cloth Nappy Workshops Melbourne. I wanted to do a video specifically on traditional nappies, so traditional flat nappies, the kind of nappies that you might have been in if you were born in the 70s or 80s or even later. They are just one large square of fabric. So I have a couple here. They are literally a square, like so. And typically, back in the day, you would fold them and secure them with a pin, like a safety pin, and then pop a plastic cover on top. Formerly known as a pilcher, these days we would call them a PUL or polyurethane laminate cover or waterproof cover. So they are certainly a well-known nappy, but what you might not know is they are so versatile. So we used these. We used smaller versions. So this is a 60 by 60 centimeter terry telling square. We used 30 by 30 on our newborn. And yeah, that's how we started our cost journey. I think I bought about 6 and 3 covers. And I bought them and used them because I wanted to see how we felt about the whole washing cloth nappies thing. We didn't know anyone that had done cloth, so we sort of jumped in, probably a little bit hesitant at first, used them, fell in love with the whole not needing to throw out so many nappies each day, and yeah, went on to modern cloth. But they were still useful for us right through until our children toilet trained. So those smaller nappies I used in a rectangular shape and used them to boost other nappies. And then I also had some of these larger squares and used them as actual nappies. So it was great. Throughout the day, I would use nappies with bamboo inserts that would give us about 3 or 4 hours of wear time. But if I had to do a nappy change just before bed or just before bath, I would use one of these. Rather than using my more absorbent nappies that were a little bit more time consuming to dry, I would just use one of these to take me for an hour and a half before I needed to hop on a nighttime nappy or put my baby in the bath and give them a clean. So it was a nice way to bulk our stash with using some really cost-effective nappies. I've written a list of the other uses for these. So yes, of course, you can absolutely use them as nappies. That's what they are. They're nappies, but so many other uses. So they can be burp cloths. So you'd often see parents popping one on their shoulder, using it like popping baby here and giving them a burp. And if they happen to make a mess down the side, doesn't matter. You've got a cloth covering you. I've also used them bunched up like this under my elbow to help me get into a nice comfortable feeding position when I'm out and about. Even at home, I didn't want to get an expensive breastfeeding pillow. I just would often use a towel or one of these just to prop myself in the right spot. And they were always handy for, as I said, burping or just cleaning up spills. Another cool use of these is if you have older children. I often have one in my bag or in the car. And if we're going to a playground and it's been raining, I will use one of these and give the slide a wipe or the swing a wipe and take some of the rain drops away. So they can go and play on the equipment and it won't be too wet. So again, useful. We had several in the changing area of our baby's room, and we would line our change table with them. So we didn't have any of those fancy covers. We just had cloth nappies lining our change area. That way, if there was a wee or a poo accident or a little milk vomit, I could just throw one of these into our nappy bin, ready to wash. I know some parents who perhaps cloth part-time, they use these to bulk up their washing loads. So if you've been to one of my workshops, we know that we wash nappies twice. We do a short load, just nappies, and then a longer load of nappies with added clothes. But if you don't have enough nappies or enough clothes lying around to do a wash, you can actually just throw in a couple of these to add volume into your machine to help your nappies scrub against each other to get themselves clean. So they might be clean to start with. That's okay. You're just using them as a washing aid. What else is on my list? Oh, yes, another good one we had. So I had to brainstorm the other night because there's just so many uses. So when it came to feeding our baby meals, when it was time to give them solids, I would often use one of these to tuck around their high chair so that they had a bib covering the top of them. But if food dropped onto their lap, it would actually be protected by the cloth nappy square. And that way it would catch things. I could give them a bit of a shake and then throw them in the wash. Another great use, and one that we continue to do to this day, is we use them as paper towel alternatives. So I have one of these hanging up right next to my tea towel. The tea towel is used to dry our hands after we've washed our hands with soap. But the cloth nappy square is what we use to clean up any spills we have in the kitchen. So if we've dropped some coffee on the bench, or there's been a spill of pasta sauce, or we want to wipe out a pan that's been used to cook with oil, we use one of these, and that's our paper towel alternative. So we're 8 years going strong. Our cherry toweling nappies are still alive. They're still looking great. I have one in the bathroom that I use when I'm removing my makeup. So they're just so versatile. But as nappies, really cool as well. So I'll do another YouTube video on the specific different folds you can use when using them as nappies. But today's video was just about some of the surprising uses for these beyond nappy use. All right, I hope that was helpful.